it's morning, so don't judge my chops right now. Alright, so this is the Xymox Reserve Core carbon fiber snare pad. This is the greatest pad I've ever played, hands down. What are you going to want to know about this pad? The rim on this pad is a lot different than the one on the Invader. It's really strong. I don't know, I guess you're probably wondering why that's the first thing you bring up, but when you play on it, that's the first thing that comes to mind. It's not metal, but I mean it could stand up to pretty much anything you're going to have to put down on it, so you're probably not going to get a lot of nicks and dents in here. The carbon fiber it's amazing. I mean, it has this pad has a deep kind of a feel, the way that an HQ, like a real feel, does, where it's very absorbent. But it's responsive like an Invader is, or like a Slim pad is. I like the feel of like a stock pad, the Vic First stock pads, because I get the feeling that I'm actually playing into a drum head instead of like the laminates that Xymox put on their ID pads. To me, feel sort of like a tabletop. It doesn't feel like a drum to me because the stick isn't really being absorbed the way a drum would. This carbon fiber is totally different. It'll absorb your stick the way the deeper pads do, but it still is really responsive. The carbon fiber gives it a really articulate feel. I love this color. This is the sickest color ever. I'm glad I waited for this color to come out. I think this looks absolutely sick. That's another thing. The weight of this thing, it's smaller than a Xymox pad, but it's just as heavy. It feels like a brick. It feels really integritous. When you pick it up, I mean, it feels strong. You could probably drop this out of the side of your truck accidentally and hit the ground and it'll be totally fine. Let's see. The fact that it's smaller than an Invader pad doesn't bug me, or at least not yet. It might bug me later, but right now, I mean, so far, I haven't had any problems with it. It feels pretty great. One downside about the pad, the only thing that I've noticed yet that annoys me, is something that Xymox couldn't really fix. When you do rim shots on this pad, you can't really tell if you're connecting with the gum rubber or not. And the Invader has that same problem, but I'm sure if I play on it enough, I'll probably get more, I don't know, I will be more astute at knowing whether or not I actually have played a rim shot or not. But the problem is that the rim is significantly louder than the pad. So when you play a rim shot, you can't tell if you're actually hitting the pad or not. Like, that could be a rim shot, and then somewhere it just stops. So I have a hard time with that. And I mean, I don't know, that's not going to be too big of a deal. The fact that when you hit the rim, it's noticeable is really cool. I like that a whole lot. Let's see. Oh, the snares feel great. I got mine signed by Jen and Kevin because I really wanted that, and it looks pretty sick. And it makes me feel kind of special, and it's sort of weird just knowing, you know, that they're in California and they touched this and they put their signature thing right on it. That feels pretty sick. I can see why they say it's not adjustable. I'm actually okay with that. I was worried that I'd want to tighten it a lot, but it sounds great. The response is good for me. I'm guessing the reason they tell you it's not adjustable is because these cartridges are probably put in after they make the pad. Like, they're probably just glued in there, which means that these bolts aren't actually drilled into the wood at all, or at least that's my guess. And if they aren't, that means if you could loosen them, there's no way for you to get behind the pad to tighten them again. So that makes sense why they're not adjustable, but I'm totally fine with it. I thought I would want to tighten it, but again, I didn't. It has great response. It's really tight. It's really articulate. I don't know if I would want it any tighter than it is right now. And I got pretty much exactly what I was hoping for on that. Let's see. The differences between this one and the Invader. This one is not as loud as the Invader. This is just my opinion. I've heard other people say that it's louder. I don't think it's as loud as the Invader because this doesn't. The Invader, the main reason it's so loud, especially when you're playing at loud dynamics, is because when you play into the Invader, because of the substance that's on top, they're like antimatter stuff that they put on there. The sound of the pad, the resonance of the pad, transfers from the drumstick into the whole drum pad, and it resonates a lot. So when you play on it, you hear the whole drum pad instead of just the stick. But on this thing, the gum rubber and I think this anti-slip stuff on the bottom do a great job of absorbing a lot of the stroke. So most of the volume that you hear is from the initial contact noise of hitting carbon fiber and from the snares. So like, even though I'm playing on carbon fiber and that's, and it has a snare response to it, I don't think it will project as far as an Invader will. I think if I was playing in a pad party with this, I think I'd probably blend in pretty well. The snare sound fills it out a lot, but I don't think I'd be overbearing to everybody else. This is more articulate than an Invader, definitely. And again, this is all just my opinion, but the carbon fiber really does a number on it. The Invader, I mean, even at low dynamics, the Invader was impressive because it was pretty articulate, but I mean, this just completely trumps everything. This has the articulateness, is that a word? Articulateness? This has the ability to play as articulate as one of the laminates that Xymox puts on their other pads, but it has the advantage of not feeling as tabletop-esque. I don't know. I don't really like the regular Xymox laminates that much. I might like the thinner ones, but I didn't like the ones that were on the ID pad. This looks way better than an Invader. I think it looks a lot cooler. It looks more like a drum. I'm sure it'll be a conversation piece when I bring it out, and play with other people. And it feels a lot better. So in my book, if it feels better and it looks better, then I'd rather have it. And so if you're debating between getting an Invader or spending the extra cash and getting a Xymox, get a Xymox. There's nothing that will disappoint you about this pad that won't disappoint you about an Invader. So get this pad, totally sick. And by the way, shout out to Jen and Kevin for signing the bottom of my pad because that made my day. Super excited about that. So that's my review of the Xymox. Okay, wait, let me get this right. The Xymox Carbon Fiber Reserve Core snare pad.